Hey everybody, welcome to Pine Forest Braucherei. I'm Gretchen Swank. Just wanted to talk with you today about this time of the year. We are in the holiday season approaching Yuul. So Yuul is the winter solstice. It will happen on December 20th and it kicks off what some know as the 12 days of Christmas. In Orglava, we consider the 12 days of the Yuul season the time of the return of the light. Is a time of hope and renewal as we approach the new year. So we are in the throes of the dark time of the year right now, which in Orglava we call the Voryuul, the 12 darkest nights of the year. So as we approach Yuul in Orglava, we have an option of exploring, if we choose to do so, our shadow self, the parts of ourself that we do not like to look at, the parts of ourself that are uncomfortable to explore, the parts of ourself that we just don't shine a light or look at all. So those parts of ourself we kind of harness in a way. So they can come out, the shadow can come out as an emotion that's uncomfortable or as a habit or behavior that is unsavory or destructive. And it's a part of us that is there, whether we like to see it or look at it or not. So many people describe this time of the year as a difficult time. Emotions can run high, stress can be out of control, and the shadow can play into that. So during Voryuul, if we choose to do the meditations daily to explore our shadow self, we are in a way kind of harnessing that natural energetic pull to go within during the darkness, because when the darkness is like a lunar pull, an internal exploration. So it's that natural tendency anyway, whether we choose to or not, to kind of go within. So if we choose to dig a little deeper, we can. So we're kind of harnessing that, and when we explore the shadow and we get to know our shadow self and start to process that through, we can kind of turn what we consider uncomfortable or less desirable aspects of ourselves into growth, into positive action, into movement toward the new year, movement toward the light, the hope that's coming with Yuul. So as we approach Yuul, we think about that shift, that tide. So I like to think of the yin and the yang. And in Orglava, in our culture, we think about the balance. We think about the balance of everything in order for life to proceed in its happiest, healthiest form, and for nature to produce and sustain us. That is of utmost importance. So balance is necessary within us and in our external environment. So as we approach Yuul, we can really harness those emotions. So if this is a particular difficult time of the year for you, you may want to just take a moment to reflect. You still have a couple of days to do so before the light returns and the sun begins to lengthen our days as we move towards the new year. And once Yuul comes, we're in a more celebratory time, a time of light, a time of moving toward that betterment of ourselves, that side of ourselves that we looked at during Voryuul, we can carry forth into Yuul in a different way. Remember that yin and the yang, the light half and the dark half. It's really the same thing, correct? That balance. So it's really important to think about how that plays into our lives in various different ways. And I encourage you to do a lot of reflection this time of the year, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable. My personal reflection this time of the year has been on my ancestors. I've been doing a lot of genealogical studies and bringing that past into the present. And a lot of that has to do with our traditional customs. So you might have certain traditions and customs that you celebrate within your own family around this time of the year that you just naturally do because that's what you've always done, and that's part of your carrying your heritage and your family traditions forward. Sometimes we need to dig a little bit deeper to revive some stuff. I think about, as a Pennsylvania, in that terms of the Pennsylvania Dutch culture in general, I like to think about taking stuff from the past and carrying it forward, our old traditions, making sure we're keeping our old traditions alive in a new way and moving our culture forward. I recently was able to find my grandma's cookie recipes from a cousin of mine who I just took a stab in the dark and asked her if she had some of my grandma's cookie recipes, and she did. And I remembered my grandma's cookie recipes, my grandma's cookies from when I was a child, and how much comfort and joy they brought to me and my friends, and how she lived a very frugal life. She came from plain Mennonite and Amish lines, and even though she was no longer plain herself, she lived a very plain life, and she reused everything. So she'd serve and give you cookies in a coffee can, and I talked to another cousin of mine last night about the cookies that I made from my grandma's recipes that I got from our other cousin, and she said, "Do you remember how Mom used to give us cookies in a cookie can?" And that's something that we remember, and keeping those memories alive. And who knew that, just by making her recipes, I'm able to kind of keep part of her spirit and part of our family lines alive. So it's really important to dig in and to reflect. It doesn't have to be genealogical and certain recipes or traditions in that way. It could be something completely different for you. We're all different, right? We all experience life in different ways and have our own expressions of this time of the year. But whatever is important for you and will carry your family's beliefs and culture forward, do so, especially if you're Deutsch, because it's really important for us to keep our culture alive and evolving forward in a very positive way to reflect the best of us. So that's all for today. I just wanted to say hello as we move towards the light and make sure you're all doing well. And it's not too late to do a little bit of digging and a little bit of moving yourself forward. Have a great day. Thank you.